everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Raids Week 27 Day 1, which means a new week. So of course we had a new event switch over today. This ends up bringing in the Pridelands raids for the week. Most noteworthy thing that ends up coming out this week is not actually new content, it is an old content finally coming back, and that is of course the fact that Rope Dart is craftable this week. Really solid weapon, among one of the best in the game, and pretty much the best thing that you could potentially craft as far as weapons are concerned. I think I forgot to mention it in the morning video, but do keep in mind Beastly Bow is also a weapon that you can only get this week as well, and you won't be able to get for several months after. This weapon's pretty useless, however, if you have the diamonds, the diamonds, and you still haven't crafted it yet, you might want to pick that up. However, if you could only afford one thing in Soulforge this week, it is 100% Rope Dart, that is for sure. And other than that, of course, Scorpius is around if you want to go do the same thing that we just did and just farm like crazy on Urskea Explore in order to go get your Nyshas and other medals. The Scorpius for running that is available right now, so all you'd have to do is just go and put into some kind of cheap team like this, or Yali can be replaced with Web Spinner or Shadow Dragon if you don't have it, and then boom, you're good to go. And everything else would be easy components to get, other than of course the Scorpius being the main difficult one. This is also probably the last time Scorpius will be craftable, in which he's actually meta. So from a completionist standpoint, you might want to go and get him now if you don't already have him, assuming you have the diamonds for him, simply because by the time you will be able to craft him again, he'll probably no longer be meta. So if you're going to have to craft him eventually anyways, you might as well get him now while he's actually useful, rather than later when he's probably not going to be as useful. He's not going to be useless into the future, however, right now is the strongest he's ever been, at least based on the current state of the game with how Explorer is set up. But anyways, guys, hello everyone, and then we'll get over to some raids. Hello Jellybean, hello Drock Savage, hello Zeddicus, hello Bill, hello Lucian, hello Steve, hello Cookie, hello Birdleaf, and that is everyone, and hello everyone else. Welcome. Also, I have no clue what ever makes me determine if I say the first part of the name or the entire name. I'm not sure, it just kind of happens. But anyways, let's go head over to raids already. So of course we got ourselves restriction of Pridelands. We can use anything within Pridelands for the duration of this week. I'm likely just going a Mang build. Should be pretty easy to kill the raid boss every single time pretty consistently this week, given that we have ourselves a pretty much auto win. All you have to do is cast this troop and then you won. You do that into Mang and it will have a 100% chance of killing the raid troop. There is at no point where Mang into that would not kill, simply because this has at a mythic rarity. This thing will have 5 times its damage at a 1-to-1 boost ratio, basically for its HP, because it has a 5-to-1 and it has a 5 times multiplier on that. So it essentially does damage equal to the enemy's HP. So if you've torn all of their armor, it'll 100% guarantee kill whatever you touch with it. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that pans out throughout this week. That'll only be particularly useful if you go super deep. Otherwise, it'll just help speed up these other battles a little bit more than it would otherwise. Also, I should probably switch to Enrage. Enrage is mostly just to kill a bit quicker. We don't necessarily need the mana accumulation as much, so we could still go for it if we want. So right there, we just go for the mana. Doesn't really matter since we can just armor tier them. Do keep in mind, there does appear to be a lot of mechs this week, so you won't have as much HP to be able to tier, unfortunately. However, or you'll have more armor to tier with Mang to gain more attack. However, you won't have as much HP boost ratio that you can end up using him for. Luckily, the Zugov doesn't scale like that, so you'll still be able to go and get his really high HP to go and do the one-shots as you normally would. Not like it would even matter what his HP is, because if you do it in combination, he'll still die anyways. Also, he's still in a range where you can just one-shot him even without Mang, so let's just go for that. And we'll be able to Mang these for quite a while, especially since we're currently running Magic. See, we don't have to run Magic, though it will allow us to kill these up-front ones a little bit easier, at least at these lower level ranges. Hello, Mobarashi! Yeah, I would choose Scorpius over Arachnine Weaver, for sure. Arachnine Weaver is good. However, it's not really meta for anything. Whereas Scorpius is meta for something at this exact moment in time. It might not stay like that, but at least currently it is. And who knows, maybe it will stay like that, we don't really know. A lot of things can happen to change it. So that's what a lot of troops, anything could change. But slightly more so with Scorpius, as he's really dependent on that kingdom never having immune to poison. And the second it does, he'll become less viable. Not useless, but just less viable than he is now. Also, hello, Jeremy, if I didn't already say hi. You're, in your mind, every time Tacet says pans out, you replace it with Pan's Veil. Haha! They are somewhat similar. Also, I feel like I keep saying Rashkas wrong. I always call them Rashkas, even though it's Raksha. I just see the SHs like before it. I'm not sure why. This is every single time I look at it, it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely Rashka. But the K is actually before the Sh. I never pronounce it that way though. I actually had a big problem with the 3K kingdoms when the game first started as well. I could never really distinguish them because they all seemed the same to me. You don't have any idea when either kingdom is coming? Well, you can check the spoiler thread. We'll know more info on that soon, though. The spoiler thread might not go that far forward at this current moment in time. However, when we get the next patch within the next, possibly next day to week or so, once we get the next patch, we'll be able to know a lot more info on upcoming stuff that's going to be coming to the game. But at this current moment in time, we probably don't know as much as we're right on the crescent of having a, what's the word I'm looking for? We're like right on the, it's the other word for ledge. Okay, well, I can't think of the word. But we're almost at the point where we're getting the next patch. So every single time we get a next patch, the game files end up updating. And when the game files end up updating, we'll know further into the future. Precipice. I think precipice was the word I was looking for. Isn't that the right word? I'm pretty sure precipice is the word I'm looking for. Google. What is precipice? That sounds correct. Why does precipice sound correct? If I could even spell that right. Let's see. Isn't precipice used in that form? Based on this definition, it isn't. But I'm pretty sure precipice is the word I'm looking for. Anyways. And that would explain why I forgot it. Definitely not a word I use that often. I should expand my vocabulary some, though. Ever since I haven't been writing on a regular basis, it has gone down tremendously. Especially since the way I talk is a lot different than the way I write. You know, it's just a lot simpler. Most people are that way. They talk way simpler than they write. Okay, we got one problem. Ubistet's not enough damage. I lied, it is enough damage. I keep forgetting he has a boost ratio. Like, I know he has a boost ratio, I just keep forgetting it goes that high. And he used to go even higher in the pass. We'll take the brown. Grab a mang. Oh, wait, why am I manging him? We will need to do that later. However, at our current level, we don't actually need to mang him. It's just a waste of a turn, actually. Oh, well. Not too big a deal. Not like we're going to lose this battle. Unless he just gets ultra lucky. That is not really going to happen. So we'll do that. Oh, I should have taken that skull. Should be taking any amount of damage we can in these battles. So I'm actually going to kill our first slot. And then we Ubistet kill the other two. Of course, Ubistet does get a kill every single time we get a kill. He's not required. You can just run Sakima instead. However, I do feel like, at least at these lower levels, he's definitely going to be better than a Sakima. At the higher levels, it's questionable on which one will go which way. Because if you can Mang into Ubistet, that would actually be a really strong combo. Because normally, most of this battle tends to be, even though it's important to kill the boss as quickly as possible, which we can easily do this week, most of the battle is trying to kill the other three as quickly as possible. Because especially on a week like this, it's relatively easy to kill out the boss. However, the main part of the battle is the killing out the other three. Not that they're hard, but you want to make it a little bit more time efficient so you're not spending as much time doing them. Oh, again, why did I do that? Well, I guess we're almost at the point where that doesn't even one-shot anymore anyways. So much so I should probably even switch out my magic for something else. For like 20% mana start. I believe I had the banner set for 20% mana start 8 attack or 20% mana start 8 magic. One or the other is what I end up setting for it during the video, if I'm not mistaken. I wish this thing had some amount of damage on it. Like a little small poke. Pokety poke poke. Oh, why did I explode it? Fail. Okay, well, let's do that then. I don't know. Is Surian going to be on stream tonight? I don't think he is. Unless he's just making a guest appearance. I believe tonight's spoiler stream is done by Salty and Ozball. I don't think anything else is happening. Or, you know, I don't think the developers are going to be there. It's not in Q&A. It's just a preview stream. They might pop in, but last I recall, it was just going to be Salty and Ozball. I don't know. I like most of next patch, as well as some of the other features that they're bringing in that hasn't been publicly really mentioned yet. But the task system I am still kind of iffy with, especially since they nerfed it again prior to it releasing. Not sure why they like buff nerfing stuff, where they like try to buff something and then nerf it. That happens so often, and they just did that again with the tasks before it even got released. I'm not sure if they're modifying it again prior to its release. Seems like they aren't at this point. Alright, good. That's still one shot. That should probably one shot for a very long amount of time. Given that we automatically do whatever his HP is, so all we really have to do is look at his armor and pretend that's his total durability. Because we already 1-to-1 whatever his HP is, so the armor is the only value we actually have to look at in that regard. Similar to these other troops, we have 56 damage. Doesn't care what his HP is, because we'll automatically do 1-to-1 on it. Unfortunately, that's not enough damage now. They just did that. Fail. Well, you just do that into that. Should probably should have done it the other way around. Oh, oops, that's not the one I want. Oh, yes, it is. Never mind. I thought that was the cat for a second. Or they're all cats, but you know, I thought that was the other cat, the mana generator, which I didn't want. Because people wanted keys more than the rarest tokens. But the way that they would have done it when they made the first change actually would have done that. That would have been the best state for the for it from an overall resource perspective. If they would have left it exactly as is when they did the red task buff, it would have been fine. Because then you could have just, if you wanted keys, you could just simply spam red. If you wanted deeds, you could go spam green. If you wanted the good tokens, you could go spam yellow. And then you just ignore the other three unless you want to go do legendary tasks. And that's all you would have to have done. And, well, you would have done the other three to some amount in order to... Actually, no, you wouldn't have. In the previous format, you wouldn't have. In the current format, you kind of have to do them all to about 3 or 4. Just because they have a bunch of keys at the beginning. Which is basically like if you were to go all in on the red tree prior. Which does make those keys a little bit more accessible, I guess. Which is one of the reasons why they might have done it. Because from an early game perspective, that actually does help early game. In that it's a lot easier for an early game player to do 3 of each epic tier. Rather than doing the entirety of red tree. So I guess that might have been one of the reasons why they made that tweak. Then they didn't want everyone just to do red tree just to get keys. They wanted to distribute them more. They also wanted to make it actually useful to go do all tasks. Which is somewhat unfortunate, because now you have to go do all tasks, pretty much. Because now there's 7.66 deeds across all tasks. 2.66 of which is on green. But the other 5 are all on the other 5 colors. Oh, we'll take that over. Grab or convert there. Oh, what was Lucian asking? Did the quest lines get harder over time? No. Quest lines have been, I believe, the same difficulty pretty much forever. I think the only time they technically got harder was 2.0 when traits were added into the game. But to most players, traits have been in the game literally the entire duration of the game. So they never really got that much harder from that. Also, during some of the quest lines, some of them don't even have all their traits. Just to make it a little bit easier for people that might not be as high of a level. Also, in early game, the game deliberately doesn't have as many traits, knowing that the player also doesn't have as many traits. But they do over time start getting traits simply because the player also starts getting traits. By that time, most likely. Hello, Nisa! Welcome! How much is the total cost of getting its... of gridding to its... epic tasks are 31.5 million. Regular are... I forgot what the regular is. It's about 530,000 per person. So you times that out is what it comes out to, I believe. I don't know, what's 530,000 times about 30? Doesn't that come out to about 17,000 or so? Probably around 17,000. They basically doubled the amount of gold you need. And by double, I mean triple. Or, you know, double as in if you double the amount of gold you initially would have needed, that's how much in total the new task costs. Though theoretically, it's a tripling, technically, since you'll need to do the base value that was already there, plus the 2 additional sets of basically the exact same cost. So basically, it's 3 times. You essentially have to do all the tasks 3 times now, instead of once, is basically what it comes out to. In order to get every task completed to get to legendary tasks. However, one nice thing that does offset that is we do get 500 more seals per week, which later in the game, at a point where you would be getting a lot of tasks done, is basically the equivalent of 25 gem keys per week for free. And most people that are in guilds that are actually going to be getting that far into tasks are likely easily at a point where they can end up doing all of the seals up to 2,000. And probably even further than that if they were ever lifted even higher than that. Highly doubt they'll go that much further though, if ever. But they are raising it next patch. And that's basically an extra 25 gem keys per week off of that. So that somewhat offsets it some. Not completely, but it's a little bit of something that a lot of people are overlooking. Mostly because it's not really that public knowledge yet. It is public knowledge, it's just not really that mentioned by them for whatever reason. There's some other few nice things coming in next patch too. Like the 27 out of 30 Guild Wars. And a few other things that I can't mention yet. That you'll know soon, TM. Actually, you'll know it later tonight. You'll know it in about an hour from now. Because the devs are doing a not a Q&A stream, but a preview stream in right after our stream. In about an hour. So definitely make sure to go catch that. I know I will. Because whatever they say, I can say. Who knows? Maybe the next patch will be out by tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe it will even be out tonight. However, if it is out tonight, I am not streaming it tonight. If it does end up coming out tonight. Unless it literally comes out right now. But if it comes out in like 2-3 hours from now, I'm probably not streaming it tonight. But if it comes out like tomorrow night, we'll definitely go and stream it for some time. Oh, what do we grab? Get that for now. Hello, Analyst. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Brick. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Because I highly doubt it would come out prior to a preview stream. So it's almost guaranteed not coming out tonight. And if it did, it's going to be like the dead of night, which they generally don't do. But I should probably go double check the forum just in case. Ta! You never know. It has happened once before, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, there's the patch notes, but that's not the actual patch notes. If the patch notes go public, then it's definitely coming out like any second now. However, that is not... Oh, wait. Surian's design thoughts? Oh, they end up making a post of why Surian did what he did 22 hours ago. Maybe I should go read this. I should probably go read this. I still don't have a good way to window capture. Hold up. I just realized something. Maybe I do have a good way to window capture. Hold up. Hold up. I forgot something. It's funny because I can't capture a window through Chrome for whatever reason. However, there is a way I can. Hold up. I'll go bring this up on stream. With the alternative method. This is going to be a really weird method to do so. But, oh wait, why is it not working on... What? What? Did I type it wrong, or... You're not going to work? There we go, I was going to say, I just typed it wrong. Okay, I was going to say, this should work. Hold up, we can bring it up this way. I completely forgot about this. That's funny. I can't bring it up normally, but if I try capturing it through Steam itself, I can. How weird. If anything, this is even more convenient because it's even easier to bring up than the other thing. Anyways, let me go read through this. Can I zoom in on this? I better be able to. Oh no, I can't zoom in. That's the only problem. Unless it's trying to load. It looks like a little loading screen over there. I'm trying to zoom, but it's not working. Yeah, it doesn't look like we can zoom. But we'll go read through this real quick. So this is basically why Surian did what he did. Might as well go read through this because this is somewhat relevant towards next patch because it is everything with next patch. But it doesn't look like I can zoom in on this, unfortunately. However, we can live without it. From Fearless Leader Surian, who's the lead developer of Gems of War, and he also did Puzzle Quest and a bunch of other games. Though Puzzle Quest and Gems of War is probably the two biggest things that you ever would have known him from. His name is Steve Frankus, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Steve something. I keep forgetting his last name. I know it begins with F. It's a little bit of a weirder name. But he just goes by Surian for the most part. But here are his thoughts about the new Epic Guild tasks. and once went behind their redesign. Unfortunately, Surian won't be responding to questions in this thread, but we thought it was a good idea to shed some further light on the changes and how we approach them. Take it away, Surian. So this is him probably just mentioning stuff to them to go post. Redesigning the Epic Task system over the last week has been quite a challenging project. Thank you to all the community members who provided feedback to help make sure no segment of the player base was missing out in any way. Although we have lots of data about current guild tasks and legendary tasks, and doesn't always convey the emotional attachment people have to certain rewards and systems in the game. But that's what direct feedback is for, and why we opened up the data on the new system to the wider community, not locking it into the community beta like we do with many other new features. First and foremost, the Epic Task system was meant to be about giving more things to players when they need them. As always, we're in the business of making fun, not taking it away. Making fun things is how developers and games thrive, and why we're still growing Gems of War after 5 years. The first system fell short in that regard, but as always, we're eager to listen and make changes. Still, we can't just pump more things into an economy without balancing it out. After reviewing a lot of data, we believe there was just too much value tied in the legendary tasks chance of legendary mythic troops, and we could release that value and substitute it for deeds, ingots, tokens, chaos shards, and pet food. Basically, mid-game players seldom see troops from legendary tasks, but they are the ones asking for these other currencies. Endgame players, on the other hand, mostly get troops from legendary tasks, and they already have. So that is often low value. Also, in that regard, I've actually gotten 2 plagues in the last week or two, my guild, and I currently have 10 plagues. I might be one of the only people in the entire game that has double digits of a single mythic. It's kind of funny. And if not that, we at least have the most amount of plagues in the entire game, because we keep somehow getting him for some reason. It's really annoying. Anyways, so that is often low value to them too. Despite the feedback that Gems is a card collection game, and the chance at these troops is important for guilds, you do get the chance at those troops from all the keys we give. So we will still feel that we're offering more value now when and where it is most needed. There are a similar issue with the glory event out in legendary tasks. Wait, there's a similar issue with all the glory given out in legendary tasks. We thought it would be nice to lower that and translate it into other requested resources. Yeah, that one doesn't matter as much. Even though it does have gem value, you tend to get most of your glory these days off of glory gnomes, because they made it so overpowered, as long as they don't nerf the glory gnome. So, with the redesign in the last week, we defined 3 core goals that we wanted to achieve. All epic tasks had to return to the same value as a legendary task or better. In other words, if I complete 100k, 200k, 250k, 300k tasks, that should give an equivalent reward to about 80% of the old legendary task. We're slightly exceeded that now, especially with early rewards. Let's see, we would not increase the overall cost of the new epic tasks past 31.5 million, which is already basically doubling it, or overall triple. You know, you'd have to do the base value and then do that value 2 more times, so basically triple. If any guild completed all the new epic tasks, they had to they would be sure to receive all the rewards they would have previously gotten on average from 31.5 legendary tasks, minus some glory and the character or the chances of all the troops, you know, the legends and mythics that you could potentially get off of legendary tasks. Of course, they also get some new skill bonuses too, and it does apply another skill bonus similar to how the current ones do. It just applies another one on top of that, which is mostly relevant for guild wars, but you can use it for delves as well and stuff like that. We might even have it before... Oh, no. Yeah, we might even have it before next delve. No, we wouldn't. Never mind. Next delve is this Friday. So we won't have it by next delve, but we'll have it by soon TM. But anyways, we felt that the that the pass at the end of last week was almost there, but feedback identified a few shortfalls in the new rewards as follows. Low-tier epic tasks were a little hard to get into for some of the low to mid-rank guilds, so we've dropped the cost of Tier 1 and increased the value a bit. Tier 12 has seen a slight cost increase to compensate. The jewel amounts in Tier 4 were underwhelming. That was an oversight on our part and has been corrected. We've also stolen the gem key from Tier 1 and popped it in here, which has allowed us to fill Tier 1 with even more stuff. The token rewards in the red epic task tree didn't feel rewarding enough, so we've increased the rarity of tokens in there. It better be a Nyshas. In general, tiers 9 to 12 felt like they needed just a tiny bit more in them, so we've slightly increased the rewards for them too. Also, all those rewards are below, and we will be going over them right now as well. And interesting, also these whatever data points are here is probably what is finalized for the next patch, so do be mindful of that. Whatever data points are on this chart below, which I haven't looked at yet because it was just posted recently. Actually, it was posted about 22 hours ago. I just didn't notice it till now. But those data points is probably what next patch is launching with at this point, whatever they end up changing it to at this point. An interesting point was made in last week's feedback that keys were now too spread out. Yes, they are. We did investigate that, but came to the conclusion that they were also spread out in the old legendary tasks too. Somewhat true, but also why? Oh no, it would have been better in that previous state, but I kind of see what they're doing because they're trying to make it viable for lower game players so they can do a small spread and get a decent amount of keys. So it somewhat makes sense why they're doing it, though it kind of hurts the late game players, unfortunately. But that was kind of the whole point of rebalancing these anyways, because their value was slightly too high, or they thought so anyways. So nothing would really be lost in this new system. Epic tasks were more about targeting a secondary resource, or sorry, secondary currency, like writs or tokens, give better tokens, while still receiving all the main or mishmash of keys that legendary tasks would have given. Finally, we're quite happy with epic tasks now, which is why I said they're probably releasing it as it is right now, or as whatever the changes are below. No player should be receiving less deterministic rewards than they did from legendary tasks, and all players should benefit from at least some of the new currencies we can distribute each week. As always, though, send us your feedback, and Gems of War will continually be a work in progress. Final changes. We have made further tweaks, which boil down to this. Task 1 now costs 100k, down from 50k. Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, it used to cost 150k, now it's 100k. To be a bit more accessible to mid-game players. Task 12 now costs 850k, up 50k to make up for that compensation. To compensate for above, yeah, just mentioned that. Change Task 1 rewards. Remove the gem key, but added more unique resources to help mid-game players. These resources are extra and were not deducted from other tiers. However, they did re-add the key, as they mentioned here. Change Task 4 reward now has 50 jewels, which is useless, and also the 1 gem key mentioned earlier, so they basically buffed up the first task and just added a little bit more jewels. So overall, just a complete buff. However, they did change the 1 gem key over to the 4th task rather than on the first one, which means it's going to be slightly harder to get those for really, really low-end players, but still relatively easy for most other people's. You'd still just go up to a certain amount each week, depending on where your guild would want to, if you're just doing a nice little wide spread. I still feel like I'm going to be going down the route of doing all of them, especially if they ended up giving any amount of Nyshas, or even Anu. Revisited tiers 8 to 12 in some reward tiers to give a little bit more of the unique resources, better have Nyshas in there, associated with the tree. And the red epic task now has much more better tokens in them, Let's see. Okay, so let's go under these one at a time. Oh gosh, that's going to be way too small. What's the easiest way of doing this? Open a new tab. Okay, we can somewhat zoom, though we still don't have a proper zoom function. Let's see, can I actually zoom on this properly? I don't think I can in this browser thing, if you even call it that. Yeah, it doesn't have a proper zoom function. That's as far as we can zoom in. So let's go over these. So, blue task. Let's see. 36 chaos shards, useless. Event key plus 11 chaos shards, useless. 2 gem keys and 12 shards, okay. 50 jewels, 1 gem key and 14 shards, somewhat okay. 3 gem keys, 16 shards. That's decent. 3 gem keys, a bunch of other stuff. Okay, this is gonna be shards and, you know, the standard stuff. There's some blue pet food in there too, apparently. Apparently they give color pet food per thing. There's a little bit of glory keys in there. So overall, other than the blue deed all the way at 11, nothing really too useful other than just the general key value and the blue deed on 11. So, green, the entirety of it's still good because of writs. Writs are the things that you need to end up crafting deeds. I believe they end up mentioning that you'll be able to get about 1.66 deeds off of all the writs that you get for completing out the entirety of Green Tree, making this probably one of the most viable trees to do since you already get a deed. You still get all the other resources. You still get everything on there, but you're also just getting the writs. So, of course, blue tree is mostly focused around chaos shards, which is useless. This tree is mostly centered around writs, which is the most useful out of all of them. Okay, let's go into the next one. So let's see. How did they fix red? I better see a Nyshas in there. Nope, no Nyshas. No! They literally nerfed it from... It's kind of weird. Wait, also, whatever happened to yellow tree having those instead of red tree? But regardless, tokens have now been nerfed more than it was before they even touched tasks in the first place. I find that to be rather amazing, that they somehow managed to make the tokens even worse. Because now it's not even as good as it used to be. Because you used to be able to get 1 free Anu and 1 free Nyshas per week, as well as, I believe, still 2 Arachnia. And now the best you get is 2 Arachnia, and you don't get any Nyshas and no Anus per week. You get, well, it seems to be 3 Yasmins. It looks like 3 guards, 4 Yasmins, 2 Cedrics, and 2 Arachnias. So unfortunately, that comes out to no Anus and no Nyshas, which are obviously the main 2 that anyone even wants. So a little bit weird. However, maybe they'll add in some other content in the future, or hopefully they'll add it to legendary tasks. Now that it's so ridiculously hard to get to legendary tasks, maybe they'll finally go and add Anus and Nyshas to legendary tasks, because that would be a pretty nice feature now, since most people won't really be getting there, and even if you do end up getting there, it costs a lot of gold to get to that point. So yeah, hopefully it'll end up doing that, because there is currently no way to get it off of tasks. There's no way to convert any of your resources into Anus or Nyshas. You can get all the other tokens, but not those 2. And as far as yellow tree, it seems to just be a bunch of glory, which isn't really going to be that good. And of course, as many of these trees, the most relevant thing is on 11 when you end up getting the deed. As far as the final one here, purple and brown. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that in a new tab. As far as purple and brown here, we have ourselves mostly just a bunch of pet food off of purple. Nothing really too relevant here, but a lot of white pet food, as well as I believe some purple, since each one seems to be giving some based on their color. Obviously, the most relevant thing is on 11 with its purple deed, which is the most relevant deed in the entire game. So some people might just do purple tree literally just for that one deed. And other than that, we have ourselves the brown, which is mostly just useless ingots. And it doesn't even go that high. It just goes up to epic. However, 8 epic ingots, or sorry, 10 epic ingots. No, 11 epic ingots. Sorry, 12 epic ingots. Never mind. They're all epic ingots. Never mind. Okay, this tree is actually nice. When did they change this to literally just epic ingots? Okay, never mind. They did improve the, they improved ingots. I don't like how they did the tokens. However, they did nice on ingots. You get epic ingots, 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 and more epic ingots, which is currently the most needed one to have more of in the game. So that seems weird from a perspective of why on earth would they give a bunch of epics. However, in the current economy of the game for ingots, epic is actually the hardest one to obtain and is technically the highest value ingot. So the fact they did this is actually pretty nice. What's that total? That's 2, 4, 6, 8... 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. That's 17 epic ingots per week. Assuming you do the entirety of the brown tree every week. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, given that that is the rarest, the rarest ingot in the game. So okay, that's not too bad. Though I hate how they completely butcher tokens. But other than that, I guess this is manageable. Oh no, I might just do all tasks for the guild. I'm almost leaning towards that at this point. Just mostly because of the deeds, but also because they distribute the keys literally everywhere rather than condensed in one single location. Anyways, I didn't have chat up that entire time. Let me go bring chat back up. Hello, everyone. Let me look back a little bit. Yeah, Steve Fonker is his name, or Faulkner. It's a really, really weird name that I've never really heard on anyone other than him. It might be more common in Australia, but I've never heard that last name before, Faulkner, until him. Also, I hope YouTube doesn't try censoring me for trying to say another word. Is next patch good or bad? It's good for most players. It's good for probably about 95 to 99% of players. However, if you're in like the top 1% of players, which is the the most active people in the entire game, it is actually negative towards those kind of players. However, at any point in the game, it's actually a positive update. Like if you're in early game or mid game, and even the lower end of late game, you're probably gaining a benefit from this next patch, like purely benefit and no downsides. However, once you reach end game or the later part of late game, you probably getting a little bit less than you would have previously in the current state of the game. Yeah, the 27 out of 30 Guild War I'm looking forward to. There's several things in next patch. Like the task system I'm personally still iffy on. But that's kind of always going to be the case since it's just a pure nerf to tasks. But everything else that they're doing is actually pretty nice for the most part. Like all the other smaller things that they're going to be adding. And some of them is not even that small. Like 27 out of 30 Guild Wars is huge. It's something we've been asking for years. Like pretty much since Guild War has existed. And they're finally getting to it now. A little way later than we would have hoped. But better late than never. Yeah, it's really unfortunate new task of 0 Nyshas, 0 Anu. The original ones had 1 Nyshas and 1 or 2 Anus. I believe it was 1 and 1. And now there's 0 and 0. But hopefully they'll add them to legendary tasks. Or who knows, maybe they'll add mythic tasks eventually. Because based on their naming, they might eventually add it. Because we have epic tasks, we have normal tasks, we have epic tasks, we have legendary tasks. Now the only thing missing is mythic. I'm not sure what they would eventually do with that. But mythic tasks definitely sound like something that would have Anus and Nyshas and stuff on it. Oh, what do we grab? Take that over for now. Though we would need a lot more gold in the game if they ever plan on implementing something like mythic tasks. Because for one, they'd probably have to revamp legendary tasks. And then they would also need to add legendary mythic tasks on top of that. But the amount of gold that would take is going to be absurdly high. Because it's already hard reaching legendary tasks in the current state of the game. Let alone if they ever added something called mythic tasks eventually. And all we gotta do is poke him now. Where's our poke? But yeah, you guys will know pretty much everything with next patch tonight. All the stuff I haven't been able to mention with it. Or at least most of the things. It probably won't mention literally everything. But we'll know soon, because it's probably coming out later this week. Could potentially be tomorrow for all we know. We'll find out soon. Also, let me scroll through chat. Let's see. Yeah, they made them a lot better for newer players. Which I believe was the main thing that they were gearing it towards. Was revamping the tasks for newer players. And to make sure that there wasn't as big of a gap between end game and late game compared to early game and mid game. Hello, Paulie. Welcome. Let's see. If this is dev intention to smooth resource gain for new players, then it's resource gaining since none of the players can do 10, 11, or 12. Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues with this new system is while you can get them daily, potentially off of your adventure board, it is going to be a gap between late game amount of deeds and end game amount of deeds relative to the amount of deeds of mid game and early game players. Because other than the fact that they haven't been playing as long and haven't been able to accumulate as many deeds, 6 deeds per week is basically going to be exclusive only to end game players. Because very, very few guilds are going to go and bother every single week to do every single task to go get those 6 deeds, or technically 7.66 deeds because of the writs that you get. But just counting, the base actual deeds of 1 each. 6 of those are locked behind doing every single task to completion of the new system, which most guilds won't be able to do. Even late game guilds currently in the game might not be able to do so, as it requires about 1.5 million gold on average per person per week in order to get every single task completed. So you have to be mindful of that with them. I do feel like I'm going down the route with my guild of we just do every single task. Mostly because it is really important to go get those deeds and everything. Because that will overall be probably better value than we would get from the legendary tasks. Especially now that they ended up distributing all the keys everywhere. We kind of have to, in a regard. Go and just do it that way. But, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But as it currently seems, For the ultra late game players and people that are already doing like near 1 million or more per week, it's probably just best to do every task to completion to go get those deeds. It might actually that wouldn't be true. I was almost gonna say it might almost be worth it just to go to 11, but at that point you might as well go to 12. Though the last tier does cost 850,000. However, that last tier does give you extra stats for the entire week. Though the only 2 weeks that will be relevant is whenever there's a Guild War week and whenever there's a faction week, as those tend to be the only 2 times when you actually need higher stats. In every other situation, it might help you farm ever so slightly quicker, but it's not really a necessity. Only on those 2 instances is a little bit more so a necessity. The extra stats on faction weeks in order to have higher stats for doing pure faction, and higher stats on Guild War week for the obvious reason of being able to do better in Guild Wars both offensively and defensively. That's not enough damage, so we'll just go for you, and then hopefully we'll just go Ubestet. Does anything feed into you directly? No, so we'll just go and waste a few turns, and then feed him some red. Oh, could take a nap, but oh well, he's already dead. Just Ubestet him and he's down. Yeah, newer players won't be that attractive to guilds now, even though they finally added 27 out of 30. Which was one of the biggest things that would have allowed bigger guilds to take on smaller players. Now that they're simultaneously doing a task rework with it, it's not really going to help newer players be able to get into bigger guilds. Mainly because most newer players will not be able to do 1 million or 1.5 million gold per week. That might be easier to do later in the game, but in mid-game and even late game, potentially, that can be really, really hard to get that much gold. I could do it probably in about 5 hours or so. But earlier on in the game, it takes way, way, way substantially longer than that to get that much gold. Which will make it really hard for them to get into bigger guilds, even though it's 27 out of 30 Guild War now. Because before it wasn't as bad, because getting 500,000 or 1 million was somewhat manageable. But 1.5 million definitely is not manageable to the average mid-game and some even late-game players. Especially if you play very minimally. Though once you finally get the really good farming, quick farm teams, it is possible to do about 300,000 gold per hour in the current state of the game. You can do about 300 to 400,000 gold per hour. Also on a week like this, you can potentially even get slightly higher than that, or around the same by even doing quick kills and low-level explore, due to the extra 400 gold that you get just for plopping the event troop on your team. Sometimes it's not worth it for how much it slows down your team, but other times it can be. Really just depends what team you're running and what you have as options. Or lack of options, because sometimes it's worth running the 400 gold troop just because you lack some of the quickest options in the game, and in doing so you can end up speeding up the gold rate that you would have had otherwise to more towards where late game is as far as this gold rate. Is Ubestet enough damage? Yes he is, so we'll go for that, get our double kill, and now he's manning into skull, and hopefully he'll get a Village of skull somehow. And he does not. Oh yes he does. Did I just leave that skull there? Fail. I'm pretty sure that was aligned. But oh well, let's kill him normally. Have you kept track of gold cost to reach 100 horde level? It can vary. It depends heavily on what treasure you use. It could be anywhere from a couple 100,000 to about 1 million. And reaching what's it called? Reaching level 200. Level 200 delve costs anywhere from about 3 million to about 6 million. Though do keep in mind it can vary even more than that. It really just depends what treasure you're using. And all those calculations assume a mix of bad treasure and good treasure. Obviously using the bad treasure first and then working your way up your treasure amounts. You worked your way up when you started, and it wasn't in a top guild your first year. Why do people feel they should be at the top if they just started? I don't know, mostly because of the way that the economy is probably structured in this game. A lot of your loot is based on your guild. Probably more so than most other games. Like a really, really hefty amount of your overall resources is guild dependent. Not all of it, obviously. But a good number of it is. How about giving some examples of glory troop teams for new players? You can pretty much just go double humility into anything. Double humility into anything that uses magic viably is all you'd really have to do. I might do that more soon. However, I would have to wait till next patch, because next patch is bringing in 6 new troops that are basically like the Guardians. So you'll be able to... there'll be a lot more of them very, very soon if you're looking to try to use those 6 Guardian troops, because then there'll be 12 of them next patch. And those are some of the easiest troops in the entire game to obtain, because they're common and you get them automatically just from doing some seal keys. And you can get all of them within your first week of playing consistently. Yeah, it's about 1.6 million per week per player. Next patches. However, I'm probably still keeping my guild at a 1 million requirement, though it is encouraged to do 1.5 million. But initially, I will not be kicking anyone for just doing 1 million. Because enough people do more than 1 million in my guild that will probably still be able to cover it with most people doing 1 million. Because half my guild already does more than 1 million to begin with. Yeah, we'll throw that down. The other issue that might happen with guilds is agreeing on if you'll do all tasks or not. I'm pretty sure my guild won't mind doing all tasks, because we'll be getting deeds and everything, and they distributed all the value everywhere. So it's pretty much just like doing all tasks anyway, just with a little bit of stats per week and stuff like that. However, there probably will be guilds that will have conflicts and might even separating some due to the fact that do they want to actually do all tasks, or do they want to focus a bit more on legendary tasks? Because there's basically going to be 3 main methods of doing the tasks. Earlier on in the game, or if your guild just wants to do a very small amount, you would end up doing up to about the 4th task or so. I forget what the exact optimal value is, but I believe up to 4 tasks or so, 3 or 4 tasks, is how far you would go into every single one if you just want to kind of do it that way. The other method is you don't really do any of the tasks, or you only do up to about 3 or 4 or so. And then every single Guild War week, once a month, you go and throw down to go do all the tasks, and then you can go do legendary tasks, which would allow you to do the most amount of legendary tasks. And then there's the third method, which is simply just do all the tasks, which honestly, I think at this point is just the way to go, mostly because of the unique resources that they have at the end, and the fact that that stat bonus will be useful to constantly have, especially if other guilds are not going for it. Because one thing to keep in mind from doing all tasks, every single week, you will have a total of, I believe it is 8, what is that? Comes out to 16, wait, am I doing this math right? I believe so. Comes out to 16, 18, 21. It is about 21 more stats than you would normally have. Is I believe how much you get, because I believe it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, and 2. With the 3 and 2 being attack and magic. And when I say 4, 4, 4, 4, I mean 8 armor, 8 HP, 3 attack, and 2 HP, I believe it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was just the exact same as what we already get off the other tasks. And that's a lot of extra stats to have. Particularly for instances where it's actually useful, but even just in general, to constantly just have that many extra stats. How low were the stats back then? Back when? Yeah, they are raising it so you can get 2,000 seals per week starting next patch, which will also basically give you more keys, theoretically, since that's basically 25 more seal keys, which is up to about 25 more gem keys. Oh, yeah, no problem, Oif, and if anyone else has any other questions or anything I missed, let me know. I'm not sure what you mean by how long... Oh, how low were stats about 5 years ago? They were single digits. Back about 5 years ago, it was very, very rare to see any troop have a double-digit stat. But stats were so low that basically every stat was a single digit, except for HP or armor on something that has a really high HP or armor. And I think there was like one or a few troops in the entire game that even had above that had a double-digit attack, that had a 10 or 11 attack, and those were considered absurdly high. Actually, so much so, Silent One at one point in the game had the highest attack in the game, I believe at 11. It was either 10 or 11, but at one point Silent One had the highest attack in the game, and felt a lot more thematic to a spell sword, and that it had a good silence capability, which also used to mana drain at the time. It was basically like a famine with silence, but without the damage. But it had the highest attack in the entire game while having a mana drain, technically, because that's what silence used to do, on top of the normal silence mechanic that we know today, on top of it having the highest attack in the entire game, which made it extremely viable at the time. Silent One was actually meta for about the first, I want to say, 6 months of the game or so. But for the initial start of the game, Silent One was one of the most meta, if not the most meta troop in the entire game. And ended up changing over time, though. It was still a relatively slow option, but it basically came out to whoever Silent One first won the battle, because there was no immune to silence at the time. I believe there was also no cleanse at the time, or if there was very, very few cleanse options. But traits didn't even exist at the time either. He also didn't use to silence himself. I believe he even had a lower mana cost, if I'm not mistaken. It was either 2 mana higher or 2 mana lower, I forget. It was either 14 or 18, I can't remember. Because right now it's 16, however it silences itself every single time it casts. So you can't spam it infinitely as much. And even if you could, there's still a lot of things that have immune to silence. Also, there's Cedric now, which can go and counter it if you don't have a stun on them. Anyways, let's go grab these. Also, I'm starting to run low on blue orbs. Please give us double blue. Please give us blues. We're down to 5 blues. I might actually start running out of blues soon. And I'm not going to use major blues on stuff. That's a waste. Well, I say that. However, what else do we really use major blues on? So, I don't know. Maybe we will. Anyways, I still haven't handed out that code. Seeing that code right there just reminded me that we didn't do this yet. Yeah, Emperina at one point in the game was the best cleanse option in the game. At one point, Emperina was the best troop in the game. Which I kind of miss when Emperina was viable. It's a pretty fun troop to use. Anyways, guys, there you guys go. There's the redeem code used on gemsofwar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever game says right over there is what you put in. Our redeem code can be found right over there in chat. Just copy paste the random numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold, which I already claimed somewhere's here. That's not the right one. Where'd it go? It's hiding from us. But you know, guys know what it gives by now. But anyways. Oh yeah, where's the other plague? There it is. We got another plague, by the way, as I mentioned. I now finally have a double-digit plague number. Oh, I still have Pridelands as my search. Okay, let me fix that. But here's the number of plagues we have. 10. We have 10 plagues. I'm pretty sure that's the most amount of plagues in the entire game. It might even be the most amount anyone has of a single mythic as well. Pretty sure someone has like 20 of a mythic or something though. But I'm pretty sure this is the most plagues any one person has. Even if someone does have more copies of a mythic. Which probably is the case, but I'm pretty sure no one has more copies of Plague somehow. Because we just got 2 plagues within like a week off of mythic tasks, or off of legendary tasks. Both of which I do not need, for the obvious reason of us having 10 plagues. But, yeah, I'm not sure what it is about Plague. Plague just absolutely loves dropping for us for some reason. Also, before I forget, I should probably go do this pet. Okay, good. We're already on Slayer. Yeah, I always keep 10 million on reserve for new content and for Delve. Delve normally doesn't use more than 5 million, which is why I'm currently at about 15 million. Because 5 million of that's going to be killed off instantly next Friday when I go and upgrade to Delve. But, yeah, if you're only doing it up to 100, 2 million is a perfectly fine amount to keep on reserve. I personally like keeping at least 10 million, though. 5 million so we can go and upgrade a faction to 200 if we ever need. And the rest in case they ever add some kind of feature where we need it. For example, next patch. Just in case the guild slacks some. Pretty sure they won't, but just in case we need to. We'll have the backup gold. Even though technically tasks give more value now, I still want to make sure we're getting all the deeds. because deeds are pretty relevant, because those actually do give us permanent extra stats, which is pretty relevant. While it doesn't have gem value specifically attached to it, the amount of extra stats that you'll gain from constantly doing all tasks is quite substantial over time, because you're basically getting 1 free deed of every color per week, which if you break that down, I believe that is about 1/4 or 1/5 of a kingdom upgrade. And the only problem I see now is what are we going to do about Imperial deeds? Because we might be getting a lot of these smaller deeds. However, we're not getting more Imperial deeds. So we're eventually going to reach a point, if they don't add more Imperial deeds in some way, shape, or form very soon, we're going to reach a point where we're going to have a lot of these deeds, but we can't exactly get level 14 or 15 on a lot of kingdoms because, well, we can't, because we don't have the Imperial deeds. So it's going to be a little bit weird because we're going to be bottlenecked soon in that we won't be able to necessarily do 14 or 15s on some kingdoms, because right now it's not that big a deal. I'm pretty sure I have like 4 or 6 Imperial deeds or something, which isn't even running remotely low. Yeah, we have 6 right now. So that's enough to upgrade 2 kingdoms to max, and by the time we probably get enough, we'll probably have more Imperial deeds to do about 3 kingdoms to max. However, we are eventually going to have a point where we can't do 14 or 15 because we don't have the Imperial deeds. We might be getting all these other deeds from guilds, but no way from the guild things are we getting any amount of Imperials. They're not even giving out 1. Kind of like how they don't have any Anus or Nyshas in there. They don't have any Imperial deeds either. And in doing so, we are eventually going to reach the point where after several months of this new task system, we might get so many deeds that we are not capable of using them up to 14 or 15 to max out kingdoms, because we might have the deeds to go get them to 13, but for 14 and 15 we don't have the Imperials. So that's going to probably become an issue in about like 3 to 6 months, sometime within that time frame, unless they add some kind of method to go gain more of them in some way, shape, or form. The kingdoms to prioritize, the quickest way to go over that would just be to check the video that I posted. It's still 100% relevant. The video that we did on deeds. Actually, let me go get it real quick. It's still posted in the comment, in the description of that video as well. Let me go get it real quick. What's the easiest way of getting there? Let me go to my live stream. Let's see, let's go to events, go to live stream. Why is it so hard to get back to my own channel? Go to here, click on my channel. Let me go get you the video. It's an ad. Stop the ad. Say hello to chat. Let me like my own video. Hey, let's go reach 10 likes, everyone. We have almost 100 viewers. Let's go smash that like button. No, I normally don't ask for likes, but might as well. But there we go. Anyways, let me go. And there we go. We hit 10. Thank you, everyone. That was quick. Look at that. Maybe I should start saying it more often. Gosh. But thank you, everyone. Greatly appreciated. It does help out. Anyways, let me go and, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my video thing, so let me go to my channel. 1 second, I shall get you the deed info. Wow, we just spiked up to 17. We literally just doubled our likes. That is quite amazing. Thank you, everyone. But anyways, let me go get this thing that was requested. Deeds. It's posted in the description of this, and you can also watch the video for more info on it. But here's the info on deeds. Everything in this video is still 100% relevant. The only slight difference is Stormheim is a little bit higher priority than it was before. I still mentioned it as a good one to upgrade in this one. Although there's 2 main differences. Urskea is the best brown now because it's going to be getting a faction soon, and Stormheim is the best blue. That was somewhat mentioned in this video, however, it wasn't like definitively mentioned as the best. But those are the 2 main ones to really mention there. But there you go. Wow, that spiked up a lot very quick. Thank you, everyone. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Gosh. Maybe we should start begging for likes. It just quadrupled our likes. I do eventually want to have something that kind of like pops up on screen occasionally that will kind of just do it automatically. Kind of just as a reminder. That won't be too intrusive or anything. Hey, I forgot, we're playing Key Team. I'm like playing this as if it's faction. I mean, not faction, as if it's raids. Because we just got done doing a bunch of raids. But thank you, everyone. And if anyone still has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know. What is the most guaranteed way to win a mythic troop, or to get a mythic troop? How many keys do you need to collect? You opened 1,700 glory and 900 gem keys. Normally about 1,000 gem keys or 10,000 glory keys tends to be enough. It does come down to pure luck sometimes, which is unfortunate, but that's just kind of how the way it is. The more keys you have, the more chances you'll have. There really isn't any way to break that luck. The only way you can kind of break that luck is by accumulating diamonds. by, I believe, the 10th task of the normal tasks ends up giving 25 diamonds per tree. You also get diamonds every single day from doing dungeons, which we actually still need to go do on this account, as well as you can farm up a little bit of them during gnome events. It's the only time you can infinitely farm them. However, you can only infinitely farm about 5 to 10 per hour or so when you do it that way, which isn't really a lot. However, you're getting a lot of other loot that is useful. But yeah, diamonds is the most consistent way of doing that. You go and accumulate a bunch of diamonds through things like dungeons every single day. You then go use all those diamonds in order to craft things in Soulforge, and you just get mythics that way as your guaranteed mythics. The only other way you can really do it that's not guarantee, or to get mythics, is just get more keys. More keys means more chances for mythics, and that's, you just do it off of pure luck. But this is the only non-pure luck way, is accumulate a bunch of diamonds, go craft mythics you like. Currently this week Scorpius is the only extremely viable one. However, I would not advise getting it unless you have several of the other really viable mythics first. So things like Iron Gut, things like Infernus, things like even the new thing that just came out this Friday, which is still in Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest if you get lucky enough for it. And what other ones are pretty high up there these days? Possessed King's still somewhat decent. Trying to think. Ketris the Bull is a pretty nice one as well. Boost ratio is up pretty well for Tower of Doom and Delves. So you can end up using it for that. It's also PvP viable, and even Guild War viable as long as it's depending on what team you're up against. Oh yeah, the likes do adjust in real time. Quite a few things with channels don't anymore, like subscribers and stuff. But likes do adjust in real time. Also, one other weird thing that doesn't adjust in real time is the description. If I change my description for any reason, it will not auto-adjust. You would have to refresh the page to see the adjusted description, which I find kind of weird. Same as if we were to add like a poll to the stream. You have to click refresh on the stream in order for the stream to actually update the fact that you added a poll, which seems kind of counterproductive if you want to conduct a poll during a live stream, since literally everyone watching you would have to go and refresh the page. Assuming you use it through YouTube's integration. Obviously, there's a way that you could do it outside of YouTube's integration where you wouldn't need to do it that way. But yet another thing YouTube doesn't do right. On the many excessively long list of things that they can't do properly. Stadia. No, that list is way longer than that. Oh no, how many business ventures has Google done that has failed? I'm pretty sure that number is over 100. Not to mention all the issues with things that are still running with them. Like YouTube, for example. I do a lot of things right, but they almost do an equal amount wrong. You're trying to decide between crafting Scorpius or holding for... wait, what's TP? Oh, the Possessed King. Okay. I thought that you did something else. Between those two... I don't know, that depends. How badly do you want to go and grind tokens? Possessed King probably gives you overall better value. However, if you're in a point in the game where almost all you're doing is farming tokens, you should probably go Scorpius. However, if you're not really farming tokens that often, or you don't intend to farm tokens that often, Possessed King would give better value. However, one thing to consider is Scorpius, if he ends up getting nerfed, this is the last time he might be craftable while he's still viable. So for long-term completionist sake, you might want to get Scorpius, more so for the sake of, this might be the last time you can ever craft him while he's still a viable option. Also, did we just get 8 pets? No way. My eyes probably looked at that wrong. There's no way that was 8. No way. Wait, let me wait till the stream catches up. Let's see. How many copies of the pet was that? Whoa, we got 5. I knew that looked like a large number that looked too good to be true. But that's still insanely good. We just got 5 of that pet, which is really nice because we have so few of that pet. But now we have a decent amount. Well, we're still low, but it at least helped a little bit, if nothing else. But nice, we just got a 5. I was going to say 8 is absurdly rare. It is technically possible, I believe, to get like an 11. I'm not sure if anyone has a screenshot of it, just because the percent chance of having that happen is like 0.000 something. It's ridiculously low. But anyways, let's go do dailies. I still haven't done dailies yet. And we almost need to stop soon because the developers, or specifically Salty and, what's his name? Ozball, are going to be doing the preview for next patch. And obviously we don't want to miss that. All the preview for everything related to 4.7. And hopefully it'll go over everything because anything they mention, I'll be able to mention tomorrow. And who knows, maybe we'll even have patch by tomorrow. They're probably mentioning tonight when the patch is launching, if they have an official date for it. Would I gift you an honor? I haven't really been giving out honor much lately. Arskea new Delve has poison immune? I don't believe so. Last I checked, it doesn't. However, they might tweak it to do so. We'll probably know within the next week or so if it will, because they'll be updating the game files when the next patch comes out. But as it currently stands, no. It is not planned to have immune to poison. However, given how many people are running Scorpius, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a surprise nerf and just randomly add immune to poison to something within the kingdom. Or in the faction, I mean. But as it currently stands, nothing in the new Stormheim faction, or sorry, nothing in the new Urskea faction will have immune to poison as of right now. That might change, but at this exact moment in time, there are none. But that is very likely to change, given that they probably have a lot of data on how many people are running Scorpius there as the quickest way to win. There are other quick methods, though, to win as well. Also, you can still use Scorpius while chasing 20%. You just have to double check and have a really good working knowledge of every single troop in the entire game that has immune to poison. Which is a lot harder than just spamming Urskea, but it is possible to do it in other locations. You just have to know literally every troop in the game that has immune to poison just by looking at them. Which is obviously a lot harder given that there's 700 something troops, whereas if you're just doing a single faction with no immune to poisons, then you don't need to worry about it. What does Honor do exactly? Honor increases your level that shows up on your profile. This does a few things. It changes the banner that you have in global chat. However, the most useful thing that it does is there is an exclusive pet that you get for only people who have max honor once you get it maxed, which is one of the rarest pets in the entire game. It's the rarest pet that doesn't cost any money in the entire game. And other than that, there's also extra rewards that you get daily. When you have it maxed, you get, I believe, 3 gem keys and 12,500 gold extra per week, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere's around there. You get all these rewards. When you have it at first tier, it's 1 gem key and 6,000 gold. At the second tier, it's 2 gem keys and 12,500 gold. And at max, it's 3 gem keys and 20,000 gold is what it comes out to. And that's what we currently have, obviously, because we have it maxed. And the pet that you get exclusively for it is actually kind of looks like my first pet I ever had, my cat. But oh, what's it called? I actually forget what he's called. I just know it's a cat. I forget his name though. Where'd it go? I know what I named it. Let's see. But yeah, this cat is what you end up getting for exclusively having the highest renown in the game, which I believe is the rarest pet in the game that costs no money. It should be. We're pretty close to it. Just because it takes forever to get max renown. Oh, and also gives you a border in global. So if I go type in global, it'll have the same one that Deli has there. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it has that little gold border thing that you see at the top. The second rank has the epic one, or the purple one, and the first rank of it has a blue. Though there doesn't seem to be any blue ones here, but that's the lowest rank, or the lowest rank is having none. The first rank is the blue, the second rank is purple, and the highest is that golden thing. I don't see a single person that has it. There it is. I didn't see it because it's a little bit smaller in size. But also the devs have a really special one, as you can see right there, that's exclusive only to them. But I'm surprised they didn't make it a mythic one. But yeah, that's what the dev one looks like. That's what the second tier looks like. That's what the first tier looks like. And that's what the final tier looks like once you have it maxed. The gold one right there. You can see a few people have it. And a bunch of people saying hello to us. Been doing good. Just streaming and going away for holidays soon, TM. Also, we're going away for holidays soon, TM, by the way. I'm still planning that out. I'll probably know definitively in a couple days. But I might be gone for about 2 weeks. Because I'm doing a bunch of holiday traveling back to back to back, most likely. I still haven't fully planned it out. Don't know exactly yet, but I'll probably know within the next few days or so. Because I'm trying to coordinate it so I only need to go once rather than twice. So what I'm trying to do is go and then travel again. Is what I'm trying to do. Or not travel and travel again, but you know, I'm trying to do all my traveling in one go. Rather than coming back home, and then going out away again. Because it would be more pricey that way. If I was to go, come back, and then go again. So basically what I'm going to do is just go to one location, travel to a different location, and then come back home. Because it'll be cheaper that way. It'll save one whole flight. Which saves anywhere from like 50 to 150. Let's see, we'll go for that. Grab herself a, I'll take that for now. And then the other one just dies. You just had a tiny update? Ooh, I don't think they're going to do it tonight, though. I highly, highly doubt it. If they're doing it very, very soon, like literally tonight soon, we would know because they would post the patch notes within like the next hour or less. And I don't believe there's any patch notes on the forum yet. Nope, still no patch notes. Still no patch notes. But no, I'm pretty sure it's not till tomorrow night. If you see a really small mini update, I'm pretty sure it's just in preparation of the update. But I believe it's not coming any earlier than tomorrow night. And even if it's happening tonight, we will not be streaming it tonight. Though it is very likely that's coming tomorrow night. And if it is, then we'll be streaming it tomorrow night. For quite some time. Assuming we can find enough to grind at. Because it is one of those patches that's not going to have too much to do immediately. Because most of it's just tweaks to pre-existing content. It's not really bringing in anything too new. But if anyone still has any other questions, let me know if I skipped over anything. Yeah, that is another thing you can do too. If you're really looking to do it, I don't believe it's bannable. But if you're looking to do it, all you have to do is create a bunch of additional accounts. Get them to, I believe, level 50. Because I believe you have to be level 50 or level 30 or something. In order to give yourself honor. Which only takes like a few hours. And then every single day, just give yourself 2 honor on every single one of those accounts. And you could end up getting max honor that way. It would require you making multiple accounts and getting them leveled to a certain degree. But it would allow you to basically farm infinite honor for yourself. It does have a deterioration effect, though. Archie, never mind. You'd only be able to give yourself 1 honor per day. I forgot. Because there's a cap of 1 per person. But, yeah. You'd still be able to give a guildmate or something the other ones. Or something. Oh, so that's another way to coordinate it, too. Coordinate with your guild. And get everyone in your guild to do, like, 2 people every single week. And just do it on some kind of rotation. My guild doesn't do that normally, but, or actually I don't think we've done it ever. We just kind of give out honor whenever to guildmates. I feel like I never really use it much these days, like that whole honor mechanic thing. But the easiest way to do it is coordinate with your guild. And just get your own guild to do a rotation. And just get everyone in your guilds to gold rank. And I'm pretty sure the mini update's just in preparation for tomorrow. I highly, highly, highly doubt the updates tonight. Though it is technically possible that it is. But if it is, we'll have videos sometime tomorrow going over it. It'll probably be one of the few times where we actually have videos up before the stream. Since normally the update occurs during stream time. But if that does end up occurring tonight, I'll just cover it tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon and such. Go over a bunch of stuff with next patch. And then And then tomorrow night we'll obviously go over the patch, assuming it's out by then. But anyways, what are the things we still need to get done? We did that, we did that, we did that. I think that's pretty much everything then. So I guess we'll go and just go through one set of dungeons real quick, just because we can. Why not? Go set these to 20% and our HP or armor that we need. I guess we'll set it to armor. Sure, we'd probably done that earlier while we were doing the dailies. But I guess we'll just go through our set. Obviously, we still need tokens, even though we technically don't need Nyshas. Well, we do need Nyshas. I shouldn't say that. Obviously, we still need Nyshas. But we don't need them in a sense that we finally got max global bonus, which is pretty cool. But if anyone still has any last-minute questions, let me know. Repeated honors from the same account do not count much. The devs knew people would abuse it. Yeah, it does deteriorate. The amount of honor you get from a person constantly repeating the honor on the exact same person does diminish a lot. It's the same reason why it takes so long to do it when you do it via guild. But yeah, repeat people and people from your same guild give less honor. What the exact calculation to it, we don't know. Because if we ever did know it, people would just exploit it. However, we do know that repeat from the same person gives less honor. The effect of their honor does way less. And people from the same guild, their honor does way less. It doesn't mean it does nothing, but it is way less effective than it would be otherwise. You have to get it from a variety of people to get a maximum effect from it. And ideally a variety of people that aren't from your guild. However, a variety of people from your own guild also technically works, just not as effectively as if it was from someone from global or something. But anyways, guys, as soon as we finish out the set, I'll go get the link for Salty Stream, and then we'll all head over to watch the preview. And I'll end this ever so slightly early in case they start on time. Have a feeling they'll be a few minutes late, but especially since they need to get multiple people for it. But yeah, just in case they start early for whatever reason, we'll go and head over there as soon as we finish out the set. And I highly advise heading over there because they will be going over everything related to next patch, which we'll be doing tomorrow night. Hopefully with new patch, because new patch might, fingers crossed, be out by tomorrow. There's no guarantee date yet. However, they might confirm tonight what the date of next patch is. And also feel free to leave a like on the stream. It's greatly helpful. We ended up spiking up to like, what? Gosh, how high did it go? Someone said 30 something. Has it really gotten that high? I don't have a tab open of it. Let me see. How high did it spike up to? Someone said 30 something. That's insane if it actually spiked up that much just from mentioning it once. Yeah, they're right. It is 36. Thank you so much, everyone. Greatly appreciated. Helps out a lot. Helps people find the YouTube channel. As YouTube does take likes into the algorithm of finding channels and streams. And he's dead. Let's see. We're very sorry, Tacet. You did not get a chance before now to say goodbye. But you're a great streamer, and thank you so much for all your help and kindness. No problem, Isabel. Glad I could help. Wait, are you leaving the game? Or are you just saying goodbye for now? Wait, did you end up quitting the game? I didn't even notice that earlier. How could you? Oh, it's all good, though. Everyone comes and goes. Let's see. We'll go for the mountain for now. Get our other explosion. Oh, you're still in the game. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was going to say, like, when did that happen? I didn't see it posted anywhere. I haven't been checking the Discord as much, or the guild chat. But I was going to say, that came out of, like, nowheres if that happened. But I know some people might leave because of next patch. It's inevitable to happen. Like, some amount of people are going to leave due to next patch, due to the task system, as it does hurt late-game players. But honestly, I don't feel like it's going to be too bad overall. And it's going to help early to mid-game players the most. Both in the fact that it directly helps them, things that are happening next patch, on top of the fact that it's going to slow down end-game players' progression a little bit, so that they can actually catch up. Not like they'll actually be able to catch up, but you know, it's going to close the gap a little bit more than what currently exists. Though once you reach a certain point, every single account looks about the same anyways. But prior to that point, there is a bit of a gap between the people all the way at the end of the game compared to, like, everyone at the later part of the late game and end game look completely different than, like, at any other point in the game. However, once you start getting to the later point of the late game, you pretty much look like an end game account. You might still be lacking a few things compared to someone who has literally everything, but you have enough to function for literally everything in the game, and you never feel like you're running out of options for the most part once you reach that point. How you'll never leave the game, just can compete on such a high level anymore. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's all good, Isabel. No worries. Yeah, I understand the time commitment can be a little bit much for some people. Like, obviously, I don't mind the time commitment as much, because obviously we have a channel that makes content for the game. So obviously, if the game ends up increasing by like 10 hours per week, it wouldn't really even affect me, because that would just give us more stuff to do. But I can definitely understand that having to play the game for a slightly higher duration of time can start getting tedious if you're already playing other games. And, well, I play a couple other games too. But, you know, if you have a lot of other obligations, and if the game increases by, let's say, like 5 hours per week, that can end up being like a deal breaker to some people. I don't feel like it's going to increase it too much, though. Most people in late game already can end up hitting those gold values. So I feel like next patch isn't necessarily going to end up increasing it by too much. But anyways, guys, I am going to be heading out for now. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And hopefully we'll have version 4.7 to go and test about very, very soon. Let me just go get a link real quick for Salty's stream. Salty will be streaming in what should be 2 minutes from now. And they will be going and going over next patch, version 4.7. And she'll also have Ozball with her, which is one of the coders for the game, if I'm not mistaken. But here you guys go. Here's the link, and they'll be going over the patch any minute now, assuming they start on time. But here you guys go. There it is, and I'll catch all of you later. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and go check out the stream. And hope you all have a wonderful week, and best of luck if you're still going to be trying for the new Mythic. Goodbye, everyone!